Hi, this video is part 2 in my series of becoming the best Palworld farmer in the universe. If you want to see episode 1, there'll be a link in the description. Imagine waking up on an unknown beach, surrounded by small creatures called pals. But what if I didn't want to do any of that? On day 11, I had the goal in mind to build some walls around my farm. I didn't want any wild pals, or worse, wild ninjas wandering into my base in its vulnerable state and ruining everything. That would of course be bad. So I spent a good part of the day farming wood. As I was farming trees, a bushi wandered next to me and I froze in terror. If he saw me, I would be sliced up like cheap bonito, fresh for the dashi. So I kept my distance and patiently awaited his departure. Much to my dismay, the bushi saw me anyway and cut me down as I got stuck on this tree, sending me into the shadow realm with one decisive strike. After that slight whoopsie, I managed to get my stuff back without much incident, although my pride was wounded some. That brush with death only hastened my resolve to get some defenses built. But the only problem was, I was lacking some levels to build walls. So I did the next best thing. I just built a perimeter of wooden doors around my property. To quote a wise man, "If she doesn't find you handsome, she should at least find you handy." And the fence honestly wasn't much to look at, but hey, it gets the job done. So long as it prevents my sudden demise, I'm very well happy. In the morning, I needed to go out to gather more berries for seeds, because if I were to become the farmer of legend, 2 berry plantations just weren't going to cut it. In the morning, I went to the windswept hills and started gathering up all the berries I saw, and took a moment to witness Kativa struggling to swim in this pond, and I felt quite bad for them, so I decided to lend them a hand. Why not? I'll catch 'em all. Any pal that I saw was caught. Cats, chickens, it didn't matter. I was running around being a pal menace when I spotted a cremis. And I don't know if it's a farm animal or not, but it looks like a small cat fox thing. Yeah, good enough for me. You know, I admit, cremis is kinda cute. I never really took the time to stop and actually look at these kind of pals. When I do these 100 days playthroughs, everything just kind of becomes a fast blur. Anyway, as I was running down the path, I saw a small skirmish between some merchants and syndicate thugs, and I witnessed those boomsticks go to work. It was in this moment that I knew I had to get one. I had a very clear goal now. I needed to get myself a shotgun. There must have been something in the water around here, because I found yet another skirmish. It looked like some syndicate thugs were ganging up on a merchant, and well, the merchant went up to the big merchant stall in the sky. Look, alright, I'm glam. Not Spider-Man, not everyone can be a hero, okay? I had had my fill of adventure today, decided to head home to repair my gear and get more berry plantations planted. Since I am doing a Farmer 100 Days challenge, I decided to sell produce to make all of my gold in the game, excluding all the stuff I looted from chests. We're just going to pretend that didn't happen, okay? Thank you for your cooperation. But yes, I wanted to see how much gold we could make in 100 days. I have a loose goal of at least 100,000 gold. No, seriously, I've never ever done any challenges like this before. I actually just go out and commit unspeakable acts to black market merchants for my gold needs, but hey, we're gonna try and do it legit. When I made it back to base, I had a severe shortage of stone, and berry plantations needed that, so I got to work farming some with the help of my rush roar. Wow, look at him go. Of course, stone was quickly becoming an issue here at Glam Ranch, and I needed more. I suppose I could have built a stone pit. I mean, I have rush roar, so I think that's the best thing to do at this moment. It honestly didn't take too long to get the stone I needed, so I got that stone pit built. I hope this thing will prove useful in the days to come. With the remaining stone I had gathered, I built more berry plantations, so there's no excuse for starvation, but of course, this is Palworld, so who really knows? This game is legendary for its absolute jank. With the stone my rush were so diligently farming, I built myself a logging camp as well. However, I didn't have any logging pals, so we're going to have to put a pin in this for now. I would have to provide all the wood for the time being. I wanted to upgrade my pal box as well, and it was asking me to build a crusher, but I'm out of wood. So yeah, you know what comes next. I got wood. That's the joke. You can all laugh now. Not long after I grimaced at that wood joke, I had enough to build a crusher. So there we go. Now I needed some pal fluids to build a hot springs for the sanity of my pals, and I was fresh out of pal fluids, but I had an idea. Pen King, my arch nemesis from my first Palworld video, provided plenty of PAL fluids and ice organs, and I was hungry for some levels, so I decided to pay him a little visit. On the way over to Pen King's lair, I came across a small shack by the water, and I was quite curious, so I went inside to see what was wrong, and there I spotted a woman crying over a sleeping T-Font. Her T-Font was very sick, and she couldn't afford medicine to nurse it back to health, and asked me for a small donation of 5,000 gold. And honestly, I'm on a YouTuber salary, so that wasn't going to happen anytime soon, and I bid her adios for now. And after a bit of awkward climbing and gliding, I was right on Pen King's doorstep, and it was time to collect those fluids. Having a Univolt was a blessing from above, because she made very short work of Pen King and his pen gullets. His henchman. His hench penguin. I don't know. Alright. When I emerged from Pen King's lair, it was the morning of day 14. I didn't stick around for very long and went back to base to get that hot springs crafted. But of course, I was still 2 whole PAL fluids short. So I went to the windswept hills to pick off some of the lone water pals that were just kind of straggling about. Along the beach, I found a wealth of water pals rich with the fluids for the taking. And yes, I came to collect. Sorry little guys, but my needs far outweigh your needs for living. And as soon as I got back home, I saw a supply drop fall from the sky. It was my mission, right now, to go get it. And when I got to the supply drop, I didn't have a very good chance to take a look at the moment, because I was being chased by very angry Yakumo. But editing glam will probably say that this chest was pretty good or something. So yeah, the chest was great, it was amazing, the loot was so spectacular it shaped the rest of these 100 days. Probably, I don't know. After some time, I had 12 berry plantations. Hopefully, this should make it so we will never, ever, 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 ever go hungry again. And it should turn a tidy profit. And when I was rummaging through chests at base, I saw that I had some gold. And I'm feeling quite charitable, so I will deliver 5,000 gold to that woman with the sick pal. It's been on my mind for a little bit. I returned to that woman and handed over the 5,000 gold she had requested, and she seemed really grateful. I'll just say that these tears are tears of joy. Back at base, I noticed that my logging camp was looking a little lonely, and I decided it needed a friend or two. And since I made it a mission to only really have pals that kinda look like farm animals, once again, let me break it down for you. Pigs, goats, chickens, cats, dogs, rodents, etc. That didn't really rhyme, but who cares. I decided that an RSOX would be a fine addition, but the problem was, I had to go out and get it because I didn't have an RSOX, you see, that's the problem. If I remember the location correctly, they live near the bamboo forest, so yeah, I'm just gonna go to the bamboo forest. I didn't have to run too terribly far, and I found 2 of them in a clearing. I'd like to take both of them home, so we'll see how this goes. Oh my gosh, that was a really, really bad RSOX. Like, awful. It wasn't going to win any awards on its own, but it's just going to be a base pal. The other RSOX was actually pretty good, so that wasn't a horrible loss. And it had Dainty Eater as well, so this thing would barely need to eat. How delightful. After farming some wood for the first bit of the morning, I was finally able to build a hot springs for my pals, to somewhat keep the morale up, not by much, but it's something at least. Looking at all 12 of my berry plantations, and my 1 Fwack, was a real eye-opener. Fwack had his work cut out for him. My pal box wasn't that high in levels yet, and I didn't have any free slots left to spare for the extra help. But still, I admired his unwavering work ethic. 1 diligent Fwack stood between us and complete starvation. With Kativa and Fwack's help, we got the last of our gates placed down, and it wasn't pretty, it was kinda ugly, but we'd not be dead, so that counts for something. And so it begins! My pals are starting to lose sanity. Well, hopefully it doesn't drop too fast. The last thing I really need is a full-on catharsis this early into my farming empire. Can you hold it together, guys? That's all I'm asking. It was finally time to say goodbye to the Stone Age and enter into the slightly less Stone Age, the Bronze Age. Yeah, it was time to enter the Bronze Age with leaps and bounds. I had enough resources to craft 2 forges, and with this, I would be able to upgrade my tools and get some better armor and build better stuff. I haven't forgot about the shotgun I wanted. It seemed miles away at this point, but at least we're 1 step closer. And with the completion of both of those forages, I was able to upgrade my PAL box once again. I was in desperate need of another flack, so that was my mission during the night. Operation Who Gives a Flack was a go. I really honestly didn't have to do much searching. I found another flack right off the rip out of the fast travel. So it turns out I actually had flacks to give. I really gotta stop testing. The fence was saying this blue duck's name. It's only one scramble away from being a bad word, okay? Anyway, this particular blue duck was a female, and the blue duck back at base was a male, so that means, yes, infinite water, infinite PAL fluids, infinite workforce. But the blue duck that I had spotted that was a female actually turned into a male when I wasn't looking, and then it completely vanished into the blue. So, no blue duck this night, apparently. I love this game. I had searched for a blue duck all night, but sadly, I did not find one. I did, however, find a lucky pal. It was a floppy. And to be honest, I can't even begin to tell you what a floppy is, or floppy, this thing. And I really wanted to stick to my farm animal theme for this video, but I am going to attempt to catch it anyway. It looks like a flying rabbit, and they have those on farms. I've seen it on Wallace and Gromit, and this video is my video. Just let me have this. Okay, good call. It wasn't a farm animal anyway. I didn't really want it that bad, okay? I'm honestly finding the absence of flacks to be somewhat alarming. Did they all get the memo that I was actively looking for them? They all decided to hide from me? Are they doing some kind of elaborate prank? As fate would have it, I ran into an actual flack enthusiast, and he wanted to see a flack. He and I were kindred souls in this bizarre Palworld. I too longed to find a flack, but alas, we don't always get what we want. And you know what? Of course, as soon as I say that, two spawned in. I caught one of them. The other one just kind of passed out. I don't know what happened to it, really. Yeah, I have no idea why Dire Howl looks so suspicious. Nope. Oh, by the way, I did manage to find a female flack. So yes, now I will have unlimited water and PAL fluids. I didn't stick around in the area for too long after I caught those flacks. I headed back home and swiftly unlocked the grappling gun and the feed bag. Right now, the feed bag was more important to me because I was tired of listening to my stomach growl every 2 minutes. So this was a priority for being crafted. Oh sweet, sweet bag of lunch, I beseech thee. It's being crafted. I can't bear the hunger. It was an amazing sight to see the progress I was making on my little farm in such a short amount of time. Right now it's just a humble berry farm, but it's a step in the right direction. And 3 flacks seems like it's enough to sustain us for now. It was time to diversify our assets. I needed to plant wheat now, and that means I needed to find some wheat seeds. With some gold that I had laying around from looting chests and other various Palworld related activities, I headed to the small settlement and bought as many wheat seeds as I could. Another side goal I wanted to have in this video was have at least one of every type of crop on top of making 100,000 gold on top of getting a shotgun. Yes, I understand the whole scope of this video is becoming very top heavy. But I just like the challenge. I think it would make it a bit more interesting and give me a reason to actually go outside and venture and explore. No! I don't know, it just said my notes make a joke about this. At the time I thought it was amusing, so here you go. I wanted to make plenty of room for more crops, so I demolished my house. Once again, I would be at the mercy of the elements. I'm only kidding, of course. My house was a 4x4 shack at best. It's not that hard to build. One problem I had encountered while placing wheat plantations down is that the ground was very uneven. And I know I tend to be a slob in these videos and care not for such trifles as perfection, but this is a bit much even for me. To remedy this slight inconvenience, I placed down wooden floors that the wheat plantations would sit on top of. Is it a bit excessive to spend so much wood on such a small thing? No. Upon further reflection, the wheat plantations were a lot bigger than I remembered. Holy moly. Well, I have a lot of wheat seeds and a lot of time, so I have a really funny idea. I'm going to build a tower of wheat. I just want to see what will happen and what it will look like. I wonder how high we can get this thing in 100 days, honestly. My Flax and Capriti have their work cut out for them now. Is this excessive? Yes. Is this necessary? Also yes. I honestly might have gotten a bit carried away with the building. This kind of just got away from me, the scope of it. I desperately needed to start smelting metal. I had put it off for far too long, so I ran over to the windswept hills to get some. I arrived at a copper node and tried to use my rush roar to help me mine metal, and I guess they can't do that now, which is very unfortunate. Like I said in one of my other videos, I don't read patch notes on this game, so I don't spoil stuff for myself, and I guess this was one of those changes, so that means I might have to find a better mining pal at some point. Farm animal related, of course. Definitely not an upright walking two-legged dog, man. Yeah, I'm gonna go catch an Anubis at some point. It's a dog, it walks on two legs, it's close enough. You know, I'm just gonna go get an Anubis eventually. Yeah. I doubt farmers had dragons to mine for them, unless this is Monster Rancher or Dinotopia. No one remembers Dinotopia, though. Come to think of it, why was it called Monster Rancher? They didn't really ranch in that show with monsters. Oh well. Maybe I need to rewatch it, I don't know. Not too long after that, I started smelting metal with the help of my RSOCs, and all I could do was just patiently wait for them to be done. I also wanted to craft a univolt saddle to get around faster and give my poor dire howl a much needed rest. But to make my univolt saddle, I needed electric organs, and I was strapped for cash, having blown all of my treasure chest gold on wheat seeds, so I needed to go out and get some. And I ventured out into the bamboo forest once again. While I was out there, I had spotted this lucky univolt, and I was thinking of ways to try and catch this thing, and attracted the attention of the syndicate, so I kited it around the encampment, trying to get the syndicate to attack it, to try and catch this thing, but this darn Mamorist, it ground stomped at the last moment, and I was caught in the crossfire. Feels like I've been punched in the stomach, honestly. This is so demoralizing, and it was gone as soon as I respawned. That's just the way the Palworld cookie crumbles. When I got my stuff back, everything was gone. All the syndicate and the univolts, but one Jolthog Christ remained. Instead of leaving it, I decided to set it free and take it home with me. I did find one more univolt for the night, and I decided to cache this one. It would give me an electric organ anyway, so why not? And just one more univolt for good measure. I continued my farming of the univolt the next day and collected all that I would need for now. With haste, I went home and began crafting my univolt a saddle with the help of my ever-loyal pals. After the saddle was crafted, I decided to take a few victory laps around Glam Ranch to feel the wind in my hair. It was magnificent, and I guess I forgot univolt can cut trees, actually. Huh. Look, alright, well in my defense, it has almost been an entire year since I caught one. I'll just take the L, okay? I'll just take the L. I normally don't admit I'm wrong in my videos, but I was wrong. Univolt had wood cutting. Well, it had logging. Just gonna move on. Okay, I take the L. Now that I had a surplus of metal stockpiled, I could craft myself some nails, and this would allow me to build a high-quality workbench. It would help me craft some better armor. Just in time, too. I was getting tired of running around in bedsheets and being defended by wishes and dreams. With a high-quality workbench being made, I could make myself a grappling gun. It's almost day 20, and here I am without it. Surely XX Palmaster_God XX is looking down on me from Palhalla with disgust. Him and his 5,000 hours of playtime. I should have had a grappling gun by day 1. I should have spawned in with one, actually. I decided to play it a little dangerous and get my metal from Sakurajima, and began running around the forest looking for some. And I came across a large nest of pricksters. Yeah, I just kind of gave up on that ambition, and tucked my tail and went to the windswept hills, where it was much more safer. Much more safer. With the day coming to a close, I had smelted the metal I had gathered in safety, and called it a day. It was time. Finally, I had all I needed to place down ranches, fulfilling one of the purposes of this video. I could only make 2 to start, but it was 2 more than I had yesterday, and that was good enough for me. It was honestly very nice to see cows in some pens finally. It was more of a psychological fulfillment because, hey, farm equals cows. You might think of cows when you hear the word farm. I don't have a joke for this, so we're just moving on. My pal box then commanded me to make an expedition station, and this thing is still insanely massive. I was only going to keep it around until the PAL box was upgraded, and I don't actually know if I'll use this thing. I haven't really used it much before, and it requires tower bosses to use and bounties to go get. No, I'm probably not going to use this thing. I'm just being real. As I was running around Sakurajima, gathering materials for crafting, I ran into the messenger of love. Again! This time, she wanted me to wave at her, and the reward was... alright, I guess. I was running around looking for trash piles and got 3 legendary Pal Spears, and in a clearing, I spotted a pair of Yakumo fighting a Dogen. And I decided to try and catch one of the Yakumo, and all chaos broke loose. The Yakumo made a Wyvern mad. The Wyvern scared the Yakumo, and I gave chase. Univolt unfortunately caught some strays. It was just a bad time all around. So here I am, Univolt passed out, next to a giant castle full of angry ninjas. What's a man to do? That's right! I tried a bit of my own brand of ninjutsu and climbed the castle. Maybe I'd get some loot, who knows? I'd have to be careful, obviously, but unfortunately, when I tried to break down the walls and the roof, nothing happened. The only way forward was through a door, and needless to say, that did not go well for me. Don't forget to leave a like on this video, and if you enjoy my content and want to see more of me, go ahead and subscribe. It's free, and if you don't like me, you can always unsubscribe later. Have a good one, until next time.